Did you know South Africa is one of the only countries in the world with 3 capital cities and 11 official languages? This incredible country at the tip of Africa is where ancient cultures, rugged landscapes, and modern cities blend into a single unforgettable journey. When I landed here for my 10-day adventure, I knew I was in for something special. From golden beaches and dramatic mountains to vibrant townships, mouth-watering cuisine, and Big Five safaris, South Africa has it all. In this video, I'll take you through my personal 10-day itinerary, exactly how I explored it, what I saw, what I tasted, and how each day felt like stepping into a different world. I began my journey in Cape Town, framed by the iconic Table Mountain and the sparkling Atlantic Ocean. On my first morning, I took the cable car up Table Mountain. The rotating cabin gives you 360-degree views as you ascend. At the top, the blue of the ocean blended into the sky and small dassies scampered between rocks. Back down, I wandered the V and A waterfront. Street performers drummed out African rhythms, craft markets overflowed with beadwork, and restaurants served freshly shucked oysters and West Coast mussels. I tried my first braai platter here, grilled boerewors sausage, lamb chops, and pap, a maize porridge with tomato relish. When night fell, Cape Town's energy shifted. I headed to Long Street, a hub of rooftop bars, live jazz clubs, and cocktail lounges. Neon lights spilled onto the pavement, and the smell of curry from late-night Cape Malay kitchens mixed with the sea breeze. My second day was about history. The colorful houses of Bo-Kaap told stories of the Cape Malay community, and my walking guide handed me a still warm co-sister, a spiced donut drenched in syrup. Later, on Robben Island, I stood in Nelson Mandela's cell. Back in the city, I watched the sunset from Clifton Beach with a local craft beer in hand. Cape Town weaves together nature, culture, and nightlife in a way few cities can. Day 3 was a road trip down the Cape Peninsula. Driving Chapman's Peak Drive with dramatic cliffs on one side and waves on the other felt cinematic. At Boulders Beach, I met a colony of African penguins waddling among the granite boulders. Small, tuxedoed, and fearless. For lunch in Simonstown, I ducked into a harbor cafe for fish and chips with snook, a local fish, and a ginger beer. Further south at Cape Point, I hiked to the lighthouse where the oceans appeared to collide, wind whipping around me. On the way back, I stopped at Kalk Bay for artisanal coffee and pastel-painted cafes serving milk tart, a sweet milk tart. Back in Cape Town that evening, I joined a small group on a Cape Town food and wine crawl, tapas-style plates in Bree Street restaurants, South African wines by the glass, and a nightcap of locally distilled gin. After 3 days of coastline, I ventured inland to the Cape Winelands. Stellenbosch is a university town surrounded by rolling vineyards and Cape Dutch architecture. Even if you're not a wine drinker, the setting is stunning. I joined a guided wine tour stopping at 3 estates. At each one, we sampled local wines paired with cheeses, biltong, air-dried beef, and handmade chocolates. A vintner explained how the region's Mediterranean climate creates complex flavors unique to the Cape. For lunch, I enjoyed a picnic of fresh breads, olives, and water blamagie bready, a traditional stew of Cape pondweed, under oak trees while a jazz duo played softly. Stellenbosch after dark surprised me with its youthful nightlife. Wine bars spilling onto the sidewalks, live acoustic music, and coffee shops turned late-night dessert bars where students gathered over cheesecake and cappuccinos. Next, I embarked on the famous garden route. The drive itself is a highlight. Forests, lakes, and beaches rolling by like a film reel. My base was Knysna, a town built around a serene lagoon. On day 5, I kayaked at sunrise. Mist hovered above the water and birds called from the reeds. Later, I took a sunset cruise past the Knysna heads while sipping a local Chenin Blanc. The captain served fresh oysters harvested from the lagoon. Buttery, briny, perfect. Day 6 was pure adventure in Wilderness National Park. I hiked the half-collared Kingfisher Trail through lush forests, crossing suspension bridges over tannin-stained rivers. At the end, a waterfall plunged into a cool pool where hikers swam. For lunch, I stopped at a farm stall for roosterkoek, grilled bread rolls with homemade jams. That night in Knysna, I found a small gastropub on Thesen Island with craft beers, live folk music, and a mix of locals and travelers trading stories. The garden route felt like a deep breath, a chance to reconnect with nature and enjoy slow, hearty meals before diving into more urban energy. No trip to South Africa is complete without a safari. On day 7, I drove to Addo Elephant National Park near Port Elizabeth. This park is home to over 600 elephants as well as lions, buffalo, leopards, and rhinos. The legendary Big Five. Our guide knew the terrain like the back of his hand. Within minutes, we were watching a herd of elephants cross the road, calves tucked safely between adults. Further along, we spotted a lioness resting in the shade and warthogs trotting comically through the grass. At a picnic spot, the ranger cooked Boer Wars rolls on a portable grill while we sipped rooibos tea. He told us how Addo started with just 11 elephants in the 1930s and has grown into one of South Africa's premier wildlife reserves. As the sun set, we parked on a rise and watched silhouettes of elephants against an orange sky, a moment of raw, timeless beauty. Back at my lodge, a boma fire crackled, and dinner was potjekos, a slow-cooked stew served under the stars. From the Eastern Cape, I flew to Durban on the Indian Ocean coast. Durban has a warm, tropical vibe with a rich blend of Zulu and Indian cultures. I strolled along the Golden Mile, a beachfront promenade lined with surfers, food stalls, and street performers. For lunch, I tried the city's famous bunny chow, a hollowed-out loaf of bread filled with spicy curry, originally created by Indian immigrants. It's messy, hearty, and delicious. Later, I explored the Victoria Street Market where aromas of spices, incense, and fresh produce filled the air. Bright fabrics hung from the ceilings, and shopkeepers called out their specials. That night, I joined friends at a seaside venue called Moyo for Shisa Nyama, township-style grilled meat and live marimba music. The tropical air, rhythmic drums, and people dancing barefoot on the sand made Durban feel like a celebration. On day 9, I escaped to the Drakensberg Mountains, a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its dramatic peaks and ancient sand rock art. I chose a moderate hike in the Royal Natal National Park to see the Amphitheatre, a massive cliff face stretching over 5 kilometers. The trail wound through grasslands dotted with wildflowers and streams fed by mountain springs. At a small mountain hut, I was offered homemade vetkoek, fried dough stuffed with mince, by a local guide. Simple, hot, and satisfying. Standing at the edge of the amphitheater, the air crisp and cool, I felt far removed from the bustling cities of the coast. The Drakensberg reminded me that South Africa is as much about its wilderness as its people. That evening, my lodge served malva pudding with custard by the fireplace, while a guitarist played softly, wilderness by day, cozy warmth by night. My final day brought me to Johannesburg, South Africa's largest city. Many travelers skip Joburg, but it's the country's economic and cultural heartbeat. Modern skyscrapers stand beside historic neighborhoods, and the energy here is electric. In the suburb of Soweto, I visited Vilakazi Street, the only street in the world to have housed 2 Nobel Prize winners, Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu. Kids played soccer while vendors sold grilled corn and amaguinha, fat cakes. Inside the Mandela House Museum, photos and artifacts told the story of his life before prison. The Apartheid Museum gave me a powerful, immersive look at South Africa's journey from segregation to democracy. Walking through its exhibits felt like stepping through history's pages, painful yet hopeful. For my last night, I sampled Joburg's nightlife in Mabening Precinct. Converted warehouses turned into art galleries, jazz lounges, and rooftop bars serving craft cocktails and gourmet bunny chow sliders. Ending my trip here connected all the dots, the landscapes, the people, the food, the history. South Africa isn't just stunning, it's resilient, flavorful, and alive after dark. And that was my 10-day journey across South Africa, a country that's not just a destination, but an experience of contrasts. Wild and urban, ancient and modern, heartbreaking and uplifting. If you're planning your own adventure, I hope this itinerary helps you see more than just the highlights and really taste, hear, and feel the soul of South Africa. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more travel stories from around the world.